Hello everyone, you've just seen my title. My name is Michaela, I'm from Germany, and I want to thank Brendon for this great opportunity to make this video and to even give me a deadline to, find the courage to do the video that I basically want to do since I saw the first videos on YouTube of personal development and felt so connected to what I saw there. I'm so happy that there are so many people out there who are actually into personal development, because sometimes I felt very alone wondering about these things. But maybe my wondering hasn't been all in vain and all in loneliness, because now I get a chance to share some of my experiences. And I know I've given them a great title, but I think I might have something to say that might not only apply to myself, but maybe to some other people as well. And I would be just so happy to be able to connect to them. I think what I want to say is inspired by one thing I have struggled with quite a bit when I was thinking about personal development. That was the idea that the way our psychology works really determines how we live, how we feel, what we do, what we strive for, where we set our limits, our boundaries, and what we in the end do with ourselves. And I kind of knew that, or felt like it, since a very young age, and I didn't know how to actually use that knowledge. I didn't know how to turn my own negative thinkings around, or even find benefit in them. And today I want to show you that I actually did find benefit, even in my darkest thoughts, in my darkest moments. Sometimes they gave me the most strength. And I kind of did not really realize it until I had the idea to make this video. So that is why I want to show to you 5 ways in which negative thinking actually turned around. I turned it around into positive thinking and into fuel for growth, as I called it. So let me get into it. The first point is this. First point of turning around: desperation, or being tired of life. I still remember that I was quite young, maybe about the age of 10, and I felt so tired and lonely, and like nobody on this planet could ever understand me and my feelings, and it was just all too much, and I didn't know how to handle it. And I already had this idea that it's just my thoughts. I could think happy thoughts, but I just didn't know how to do it. And so I felt a great sense of failure, and I thought I already have this solution right in front of me, but I couldn't use it. I was so desperate and so tired at the same time, and it was just all way too much, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And I was so sad with myself because I felt caged basically in my own mind, in my own limitations. And there was such a great desperation about this, because I knew it wouldn't even make a difference if I changed places or people or anything around me, because I would always carry that thing inside of me that made me unhappy, which was somehow myself. So at some point I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. I rather wanted to not live anymore. I wished I hadn't been born. So, how can you turn such a thing around, you might wonder? Well, there was a way I turned it around because I was wondering about death, about like what it would mean to end this kind of suffering that I felt inside and where I couldn't even see an end to it. Like I saw myself suffering all my life until I was 70, 80 or 80 or 90 or I don't know. And it was just horrible. But at the same time, I thought, well, we all have to die at some point. So my wish not to exist anymore, not to have to bear with this suffering anymore, it would be fulfilled at some point of time anyways. I would get what I wished for. And then I thought, so why hurry? I might die with 80, with 70, with 60. I don't know when I might catch cancer or anything. You never know. So I just thought, why hurry? Why hurry? It will be granted anyway. So I can just use that time, or at least I could be curious about what will happen in the meantime in these, let's say, 80 years that I will live on this planet. I felt a sense of curiosity there, it's like, on the one hand, I didn't want to suffer. Of course I did not. I mean, who wants that? But at the same time, I didn't know how to get out of it. And even though I didn't know how to get out of it, I just thought, if I have 80 years, and I was about 10, I believe, so 70 more with that number in mind. So I still have 70 years. What can I do in that time? Maybe something will come around I don't even know existed. And so I thought, why hurry? I still have time, and at one point of time, my time will end. But until then, I can just stay a little bit curious. The second thing I would like to talk about is this: conquering the fear of failure. Big promise, isn't it? I'll just give you another example for that. So, as I mentioned, I had this thought, not even just a fear, but really the thought that I am failing. I am a failure. I know it's all in my mind, but I don't know how to deal with my own mind, how to make it do the things I wanted to do, how to make it think the thoughts I wanted to think. So there was this failure already present. And now I have to take a look at my notes. I'm so well prepared. I got it. So, basically, I was already feeling like a failure, and you could call this a failure as well, but as long as I can catch up again, maybe you will forgive me. Anyways, so I was afraid of failure, and I experienced failure to make myself do what I wanted to do. I still have that right now, like in my everyday life. It didn't leave me alone like I wished it would. But on the other hand, if you do fail, if you do make mistakes, and I believe every human being on this planet does make mistakes. So if you do make mistakes, um, then maybe you don't have to be afraid to make mistakes anymore so much, because you already know you are making mistakes. So, and especially at a point where you already feel like a complete failure, especially there's nothing more you can do wrong, is it? So it gives you a certain sense of freedom actually to do what you want, because if you just accept that you are going to make mistakes and that you already failed a lot of times, so you basically have nothing to lose in trying. You basically can only win if you accept that you failed already. There's nothing to lose, but still everything to gain in trying. So you feel free to do what you want. So I mean, who could ever stop you from doing anything anyways? So how did I conquer the fear of failure at this moment? The fear of failure, of failing at life altogether, because there's no measurement for success on the ultimate level. There is nobody really objectively greater than you are. All the mistakes you make are just there, and all the things you feel you achieve are just there as well. So there's no need to be ultimately afraid to make everything wrong, especially when you feel that you actually do make everything wrong. Then every new thing you try, if you already accept that it might fail, then you still have room for improvement. I have a third point, which is leverage self-hate. See, I was really good at this negative thinking thing. Self-hate. Ah, yeah. I hate my life. I hate to suffer. And I hate that it is basically me who creates that suffering day in, day out, even in my dreams, having had nightmares since I can remember. But it was not so long ago, actually, a few weeks ago, that I was so self-critical that I felt like I don't deserve to live. I don't deserve to eat that food that I eat, to use the energy, the electricity, the warmth in my room. I'm not worthy of all of those blessings that I have around me. And I'm just a burden for this world when I cannot be productive, when I cannot be a useful human being. And so I thought again, I want to die. I just don't want to live anymore. I hated it. And I hated it so much, so much. And I could feel this power of myself that wanted to just destroy this physical body. But then there was this point that I realized that the thing I was really afraid of, or rather, I didn't want to live anymore with this kind of life. But that meant that I rather wanted to die than to live this kind of life that I was living. You could say you could also like put this together with conquering the fear of failure, but I put it into self-hate because there's so much energy, so much energy in this word hate and in this emotion, and it's so destructive. So what is the thing you want to destroy? First I wanted to destroy myself, my body, but then I thought, if this is so much energy, and if I would direct it instead trying to destroy the things that were making me feel miserable, just using all of that intensity to focus on the things that I wanted instead of the things that I hated, or to hate adversity instead of me being a human being that does make mistakes and that doesn't know how to think positively. So if I could use that intensity just to turn it around and to turn it straight forward into life instead of against life, what great things could I do? Number 4. Leverage a bullying experience. Basically, for all of my school life, which was about 12 and a half years, I was bullied at school. I was feeling like a victim. I was humiliated. I was beat. They beat me and they humiliated me, and I suffered greatly from that. And even though I'm already much happier now, it's been about 6 years now since then, I think this will never leave me as an experience. And there were several things that were going through my mind when I was trying to make the script for this video. One thing was the thought that people did me wrong and that they humiliated me, and that I don't deserve that kind of treatment. And in that sentence that I don't deserve that, therein lies a spark of self-love. I realized later, a spark of I should be better to myself, and I deserve a better treatment for myself, by myself and by other people. So I have the right to demand it from myself, but also from others. I don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. And because nobody deserves that, I feel compassionate. I feel sorry for those who suffered a similar or even worse case of bullying than I did. And I already heard of many people, mostly through the media, who did suffer much greater bullying, or even, there are so many crimes out there which people have suffer from, and they don't deserve that either. So that made me wonder, is there not anything I can do to help those who suffer like me? And what could it be? I actually did initiate a group when I still was in school, which was supposed to develop a network among the students to support each other and to not let group dynamics take over and make one person the victim, a few people the bullies, and most of the others just observers or non-actors. I have to admit, though, that I didn't follow up on that program. At a point of time when I left school, I didn't feel like it was my business anymore. And I was so glad to be out of that system. So glad. As I said, it was all my school time. I felt alone. And I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't know how to break free. I didn't know how to turn the situation around and to establish a connection with the people around me. And I felt so bad about myself. And now I feel bad about myself that I didn't follow up on that program. So, but there's still this thought that I should do something about it. And it catches me from time to time. And I think I want to help people, and I can feel their sufferings almost as if it was my own. And I think it has formed me in terms of like my morals that I would never want to hurt someone like that, like I was hurt. So in some sense, I believe this made me a better human being, because sometimes I think if I had been accepted by the people in my school, by the children around me, then maybe I wouldn't care so much. I would just not care that much. I would not be able to imagine what it feels like to experience such a thing. And so in some part, I think there's value in that experience, because it gave me a perspective that otherwise I believe I would not have, and a drive to help people, even though, as you can see, I'm very afraid to speak about these things and to express myself and to show myself. But my wish to do so is greater than this anxiety. And so I continue to my last point, which is realize the patterns. What I mean by that is when you start observing your own thoughts, which you want to change, which you want to direct, then this gives you the greatest weapon to just do that. Even then, when your thoughts are pure misery, desperation, and even suicidal thoughts. If you allow them, if you allow to feel them, if you don't hide them, especially from yourself, but to a certain degree also from the people around you, if you can write them down, if you can tell them, somebody, family member, friends, therapist, it doesn't really matter whom, or some forum on the internet, or a YouTube video. It's so important to just express it, because first it gives you a sense of relief. You allow yourself to actually feel it, and that already is an improvement, huge improvement, from just sucking it inside of yourself and it's eating you inside out. So express it, let it be, let it exist. Give yourself allowance, and then when you have expressed it, you can take a look at it and you will see many things much more clearly now. You will see basically two things I saw so far. So one thing is, you see the things you hate and you want to avoid, which helps you very much in actually doing so. The second thing you can see, or sometimes they point towards, are the things you want, are the things you need for your own sanity, for your own mental health, for your own well-being and happiness. Like for me, with the bullying experience, I see very clearly that I long for connection. I long for acceptance and for belonging to a community. I do have a sense of freedom. I want to be free. I want to be independent. But at the same time, experiences are so much more worth when you can share them with someone else, when you can have this connection with another human being, when you feel understood. And this is the reason, this is the true basic reason why I put myself up to do this video and endured a lot of ups and downs in this few minutes already, and which is why I want to post it, because to tell people that this is okay, and there are so many people out there who do suffer so much, and I feel so sorry for them. They don't deserve that, and you can get so much clarity and power and empowerment if you just realize what it actually is that is going through your mind. I've made these points, which are just examples from my own life, but by examining them, by really being honest with myself, I could find these things. I could flip the coin around in these moments when I thought everything is lost, nothing is worth it, this world is just a world of desperation, I'm lonely, nobody understands me, and this is just not worth it. Life is not worth it. Life is not worth enduring the suffering of living. There is so much power in this kind of statement, and you can turn it around. You can use it to make this emotion that fuels you, make it become your strength to carry on and to use all your thoughts of this is nonsense and this doesn't mean anything and I don't know what to do. You can feed curiosity by that. Just simple curiosity and playfulness. And by hate and anger and all these destructive emotions, you can use them to destruct the things that are standing in your way. You can use them to destruct your own negative patterns and to take this emotion and say, I want to use it to actually find the courage and turn it around and make it different and be different. I can use all of that energy, all of that desperation to make it worthwhile, to find a new goal, and to do the things that you want to do. Even though if you suck at it at first, like I certainly do in this video, but I guess I will post it anyways, because the worst thing that can happen is that nobody cares what I have to say, that they will be bored by this style of video, that I suck at speaking because I've never done such a video before. But maybe there's one or two people who can relate to what I say, who can relate to my experiences. And even if it's just one person from all those people who will be able to watch this on YouTube, even just one person will be worth it. And I gained so much clarity from just preparing this video I couldn't have imagined before. So thank you again, Brendon, for this great opportunity. I love what you're doing. Keep on doing it. It always keeps me up. I could have never done this without your support and without all these great people in the personal development industry or how-to industry. I could have never found a way to make the change that I wanted to make since I can remember. Thank you for listening. I send you all my love and compassion, and never give up. Bye.